to do is, I would say, start listening to Rush Limbaugh. I know this is a really big ask, and it's really difficult, but he's on live from noon Eastern to 3 every weekday, although your local station may air his show at a different time. Do check their schedule. So basically what you can do is start collecting a batch of companies that you feel comfortable contacting by listening to him, and you can locate their contact info. And here's what you need to keep track of for each commercial you hear. So remember the station, your city or area that you hear it in, the name of the product or company, and the approximate time that you hear it. And make sure that if you're listening to an online broadcast, that you make sure that you know that, I heard this on the internet. So be sure that you know. And we do recommend all the time that you do contact these advertisers and stations privately first. And so we do this for a couple reasons. One, and this is a really big one, advertisers don't necessarily know their ads are being heard on the Rush Limbaugh show, right? So they may have purchased a block of ads from their buyer and basically allow the station or Premier to place them. So just we do ask that they may immediately say, oh my gosh, we didn't mean to air these ads, like let's drop them right away. So make sure you do that privately. The second reason we ask is so that, let's get caught up with the slides here. The second reason we ask that is so that basically the advertiser can't say later, oh my gosh, we knew nothing about this. The other one is to establish an open channel of communication between you and the advertiser, so that, if they want to drop or they want to negotiate, they actually have someone, to talk to. So, how do we know if a station moves the show or renegotiates the contract? So this is one reason. So sometimes you don't know if a station wants to move a show or renegotiate the contract, and this is why you should have an open line of communication with them to contact them. We'll get to this. We'll get back to that a little more in depth in just a minute. The other reason is because basically it gives you the chance for a really easy win in case the advertisers want to drop. So odds are some of them will immediately go. If you contact a whole batch of them, some of them will immediately go, we had no idea our ads were running, we're making sure they don't. And that's a huge win. So basically, now sometimes there's some gray area here. And what you should do is basically start to, once you hear back from them, you've contacted them, basically sort them into categories and kind of feel out which ones are actually movable. And here's a hint, it's not the ones who say, no, we really like Rush Limbaugh. So those who drop immediately, who are like, oh my gosh, we don't want our ads to run at all, that's fabulous. And make sure that you thank profusely anyone who drops, no matter how hard it was. So we recommend that you contact the ones who seem to be movable, sort of like by their responses. So if someone says, oh, that doesn't sound right, we'll look into it and that kind of stuff. If they sound like they're waffling, just use your gut and be strategic about your time. So your time is really valuable, so you should target the ones that you really think that you can get to issue a statement. Now, some advertisers will say that they actually can't change their advertising. And you can politely inform those ones that many, many others have advertised their agreements, have modified their agreements in order to exclude the ads from running on Limbaugh's program. So if they seem supportive but insist that they're unable to modify their, it's called a run of service, go ahead and switch to asking them if they will confirm they will exclude their ads from Rush Limbaugh in any future ad buys. And make sure that you hold them to that commitment. So if you negotiate down to saying, when you make your next buy, make sure it doesn't air on the Rush Limbaugh program, that's great. Make sure that you hold them to that. And then the other thing is just in general, make sure that you make one clear, straightforward ask to advertisers. Don't give them all of the options up front. Don't give them a menu. Just ask really clear, really nice for what you want. Now, some folks will seem to be waffling, and you can basically send the ones who are waffling updates periodically on, we heard your ad again, what's up with this? Send them updates about other advertisers who may have dropped, and basically, you can keep the pressure on them. So there'll be some who will not contact you or respond at all. Now, this is why continuing to monitor the ads is kind of important. So sometimes advertisers don't want you to know that you've won or that they've caved. And they'll actually quietly drop their ads. And really the only way to know if that they've done this is to keep listening. So recommend the ones that you are stonewalling or they quietly drop their ads, is basically let them drop their ads. That's fabulous. And a general rule is, so if you don't hear an advertiser's ads for a while, go ahead and set them aside as a potential drop. And if their ads come back, then go ahead and contact them again and ramp your postings up and that kind of stuff. So if there's no public statement, though, make sure to